Okay, let's try this one more time. The Q&A app is on. This is the Daytripper Photo Show. It's episode number 82, and we're going to start. I would imagine the viewers are going to show up in a few minutes once everybody finds the proper links, which we're still running around trying to share everywhere, aren't we, guys? Okay.
If by we you mean only you, then yes.
Great. Excellent. All right, so tonight's show is on the Algonquin Park day trip that we just recently went on. It was a great time. We saw some great stuff. Unfortunately, we didn't see any moose, but that happens. Doesn't it happen, guys?
First time it's ever happened to me. I swear, this has never happened to me before.
That's what she said. I mean, he said to her. Never mind.
No, there was a great picture of a moose.
Yeah, did you see Bob's photo?
Absolutely.
There it is. Fantastic. The sole moose of the day trip.
Nice.
Well, I think he could have got the moose to turn his head a little bit more and, put on more of a smile and, maybe put a, like a yellow dandelion, in the lapel pin or something like that, kick it up a notch. That's just sort of nice. The boring, mundane, everyday, that's a picture of it. Yes.
Sorry, I'm still trying to post the link for the show to places where people could see it. There we go. Let's get that going. Okay, cool. Sorry about that, everybody. Thank you, Darren, for sharing that. Awesome. We, on Sunday, went to Algonquin. We had the big Daytripper Photo Mobile Classroom, the big bus, and we had 15 or so people there. It was a great time. Of course, Darren and Gabriel were instructing. We had Navi Noom with us, which was a lot of fun. And Bob McWhinney shows up, and he was a great help for a lot of reasons. First off, he is a School of Imaging instructor for Henry's, so it's always good to have him around helping out. Secondly, he was great with everybody. He was going around helping people out. We've got him on video, teaching people settings and things on their cameras, which was amazing. And thirdly, when we had the unfortunate occurrence where one of our members had to leave early because a family member of theirs off-site was injured, Bob stepped right up, scooted her right off to the hospital to make sure everything was taken care of, and it was. So excellent, excellent, excellent. Just going around, seeing that people are making comments, trying to find our show. Of course, Bonehead Brian forgot some places to post the link. Here is the link. Cool. Yeah, I'm catching up. Don't worry, guys. We'll figure this out eventually.
How about while you do that, I'll just mention that if you like the show, we would love it if you would, if you're watching on YouTube, thumbs up the show and subscribe to our channel, so that way if you miss one of our shows, it'll automatically be waiting for you in your subscription playlist. So you can be sure to never miss a show, never miss a photo challenge, and never miss the awesomeness, goodness that is us.
That is, especially you.
And tell your friends about us. If you find that you get value from the show, we would love, the more the merrier. We'd love to spread our happiness around as much as possible. So tell your friends to watch the show and join our Google Plus community and come on the day trips. And we appreciate it. The more the merrier.
Absolutely. So other than our day trip, guys, what have you been up to lately?
Shooting. Lots of shooting.
Yeah, lots of shooting.
You look a little bit tuckered out, both of you guys. Have you recuperated yet from Sunday?
From Sunday?
From Sunday. I'm still trying to recuperate from the Sunday sleep loss.
I'm still trying to recuperate from today.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, it's just been busy lately, that's all.
Well, I think people are starting to find us. Of course, that's because Blake pipes up and says, "Found it!" So, thank you, Blake, for finding us. Appreciate it, man. Blake was with us as well. Yeah, he shot our video, a lot of our video for that day. And I put together a little video promo, which we've posted on the Daytripper community of the day. So if you want to know what the whole day was like, you can go check that out. But we have a lot more stuff to talk about. The things that make our day trips unique. The things that make what Daytripper Photo offers unique, we're going to be talking a little bit about tonight. Some of the things like on the bus ride on the way up. What's so important about coming on a trip like that? To me, there's so many other things that go on these day trips. One of those things is the whole mobile classroom, literally a class on the bus on the way up to Algonquin. And it's funny because on bus ride back in my notes here, I noticed that Gabriel says it's much longer with Brian not talking the entire way, which makes me laugh. It's usually funny because as soon as we get in the bus in Newmarket, everybody gets on the bus, we load up our gear, it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, we're all tired. I start my presentation as we start driving away. And most of the time it works out that just as we're pulling into Tim Hortons in Huntsville, the discussion's over. So it does make the time go by very quickly, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's nice.
Lots of little nugget knowledge, bits thrown around, people asking questions, and I don't think we lost anybody on the drive up this time. I don't think we ever have, actually. People stay awake and enjoy it.
Well, yeah, and with you, going over the basic fundamentals, and I find that even, this is a presentation that I've seen you do 100 times, that I've taken in courses 100 times, that I've heard 100 times, but it's still interesting. So even if you've heard it 1,000 times, it still keeps your interest. You still pick up, 1 or 2 things every single time.
Absolutely. I'm just going to guide Fred into watching. Here you go. Here you go, Fred. All right, so yeah, what really sparked all this shenanigans and why I was kind of sidetracked and didn't hit the Q&A app at the beginning, we were having a debate about the photo challenge. And there's some great photos this week, and I think we had a hard time trying to decide who should win. So we're going to give a few extra prizes out tonight just because we should. There's so many great shots. But yeah, we'll get to that in a few minutes. We'll get to that later. Staying awake. And you know what? It's hard staying awake. I'm kind of falling asleep right now. I don't know if you noticed. Here I go. No,
I think people were excited. It was neat getting on the big bus, trying to figure out all the technology and everything, and people were, always looking out the window, seeing if it's getting brighter, and there's a lot of anticipation leading up to the big sunrise, and and then the whole Tim Hortons debacle woke everybody up because everybody thought they weren't going to be able to pee, and so yeah.
Whoa, buzzing the world.
Ooh. For those of you that weren't there when we got to the Tim Hortons, Brian had called ahead to make sure that it was going to be open, let him know that 15 or some odd people were going to show up, and we got there and they were closed, and the girl there was like, well, I can't let you in, and we're like, well, we got 15 full bladders and we want to buy a lot of coffee, so it's up to you. And so they were nice enough, thankfully, to eventually let us in, and which was great. Yeah, so we ordered a whole bunch of food, and then we were off again.
That would have been rough if they didn't let us in. That would have been pretty rough. Now, apparently, there was another Tim Hortons down the street that is open 24 hours. So it might be, maybe that might be the route we take next time. When we have to leave that early. But apparently, this place has always been open 24 hours. It's the first time it's ever been closed. And apparently, it's because people are vandalizing their bathrooms.
Yeah, well...
Come on, people.
It's a bunch of crazy photographers.
Yeah, it wasn't us. Blake says, from personal experience, first time going, it's hard to nap earlier in the night. This time wasn't so bad. Last year, no sleep. Yeah.
I made sure I had a really late night. I went and saw the 10 o'clock showing of Captain America Winter Soldier the night before, so I didn't get to bed till like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning the night before, and then I didn't sleep in that morning, so I was basically tired all day. But that means when I did go to sleep, I fell asleep pretty quick. I got 4.5 or 5 hours worth of sleep, which is all I need, and then I was ready to rock and roll.
I think you stayed up all night, didn't you, Darren?
Pretty much.
I can't do that.
There's no point. It takes me 2 or 3 hours to go to sleep when I, go to bed at an unusual time like that, and a lot of stuff on my mind about remember to do this, remember to do that. And by the time I get to sleep, it's maybe 45 minutes of sleep that I get, and I wake up and I'm all groggy. I'm more awake if I just don't bother trying to go to sleep.
I wouldn't survive that. I pace myself. Starting the week before, I usually cut back an hour, get to sleep 1 hour earlier, 1 hour earlier, 1 hour earlier. Finally, by the time the day came, I was asleep by 7:30.
Nice.
I was up by 12:30, so yeah, worked out well for me. that's what you have to do when you do these kinds of trips when you're up that early. You really have to prepare yourself for the whole thing. So what could people do? What did people have to do to prepare for this trip? Other people, the people that came on our day trip. Some of the things I think were, make sure you have your proper tripod, make sure your camera gear's all clean, your memory cards are clear, your batteries are all fully charged.
Yeah.
Prepared.
Another thing I would mention too, they always say never pick up new gear on your way to a photo shoot. We had a couple circumstances. There was one lady who just bought a brand new battery for her camera so she would have a backup battery, but it was a third-party battery, and it turns out it was defective. She got like 5 pictures out of it, and then it just stopped working. So she had to pace herself for the rest of the day off of one single battery. So if you are going to do something like this, you want to pick up some new gear for a trip specifically like this, because it's not often you get to shoot in Algonquin sunrise. Pick it up a couple weeks ahead of time and put it through its paces so you realize that so you can know whether it's actually working or not.
Did you ask her if she had fully charged the battery first?
Yes.
Was that the Panasonic?
I believe so.
It was awesome video.
Sometimes these batteries, they need to be charged up, used, drained, and then charged again before they start working properly.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. She'd only had it for a couple of days, so she knew it was fully charged the night before. When she put it in the camera, it showed fully charged. But maybe she hadn't had it long enough to do the whole charge, drain, charge process. So
because if she just put it in the camera, all cameras will show fully charged even on a weak battery. That's the way most of these batteries work.
Really? Because my Canons don't do that. That's interesting. So maybe it's just a Panasonic thing.
Well, I guess
she said she charged it overnight. So.
And she brought her charger with her as well.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah,
she brought her charger with her, so she still had the extra one. I know that some cameras are flaky on their battery meter thing, and you really can't go by that.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's one of the things. If you're buying an aftermarket battery. Check around on the internet to find out whether there's reviews of people that have been dissatisfied with the performance of it. Because I've never heard of that happening, with the manufacturer's batteries.
Oh yeah, I know. I bought a few aftermarket batteries for my 7D, and just never had good experiences with them. Now I just spend the money and buy the actual Canon ones.
Although that said, when it comes to rechargeable batteries, I've had nothing but absolute dismal failure from buying name brand batteries. And I've had my best performance and best success with cheap EcoCell batteries.
Interesting.
Yeah, EcoCell is actually not bad. That's a brand we used to sell at Henry's. They had a 2-year replacement warranty on them. I love the Sanyo Eneloop. I find they work better than just about anything.
Really good things about those.
But on the point of the actual batteries for your camera, obviously I sell these all the time, and I have to admit I have a real sick spot in my stomach when somebody insists on buying one of the no-name brand ones, because that is definitely the ones those are definitely proper English here. The ones that people would have more likelihood of having issues with. The brand name batteries are definitely worth the extra money you pay if you plan on using them as a main battery. Keep in mind though, a lot of people are buying these as a second battery, something that they only need to get 50, 60 photos out of, worst case scenario, in which case if you're going to spend half the money, use it as a backup battery. If you want my 2 cents.
Yeah, but she only got like 5 or 6 photos out of that one.
Yeah, that was just bad. And that's what I was going to say, too, is one of the things we make sure we do on day trips is we bring a voltage converter so people can plug their chargers if they bring them into the bus, cigarette lighter adapter, and still get that going. So
yeah.
That sucks. Going to a really cool place and not having the battery power or the memory cards. Oh, God, I would just...
Yeah.
Horrible.
Well, I think everyone succeeded in getting through the day without batteries dying. I didn't hear of anyone not having enough battery power. I mean, she just ran into a problem with that battery, but that was a second battery, so she still had her other battery.
Right. And the first battery was charging while we were doing it, so.
Yeah. Speaking of batteries, one thing that I do as well, especially if I'm going out into nature, as soon as I start my day, I put my phone into airplane mode. If you're in an area where the cell phone signal is spotty, it's going to use a lot more of your cell phone battery trying to get a signal. So I just put it in airplane mode and I turn it on every couple hours, checking for messages. And I was still at, I think, 65 or 70% battery on the way home.
Is airplane mode the same as do not disturb?
No. On an Android phone, you go here. If you hit the power button for an extended period of time. Whoops, that's not the power button, that's the volume button. You get this option here that when they're airplane mode, and what it does is it turns off your radio signal, your cell phone signal, your data, your GPS, your absolutely everything. It turns
Your
off.
wireless, your Bluetooth.
Yeah, absolutely everything, and that's what uses a lot of your cell phone battery, and so use it for viewing pictures and stuff.
So,
There you go.
There it is.
Yeah. And I think with that, are you on iOS 7 there?
Yes, sir.
You are. So if you just swipe up from the bottom, you should get a shortcut into airplane mode there as well.
I just left
my
my phone on all day, and at the end of the day, I still had about 62% battery.
That's excellent. Oh, I suck battery like I'm drinking water on these trips. Some other things. Blake says food, snacks, spare clothing. Very good. We've had issues.
Yeah, because it's 0 degrees in the morning and 15 degrees in the afternoon. So you want to bundle up, but you want to do it in lots of layers so you can take them off as you go.
Or if you're Blake, people might spike you into the water or push you into the snow, or Blake tends to have.
I did it twice.
And he also says if you are around water, a bag of rice. A lot of times, you lean over to pick something up, your cell phone drops into the water. Put water in a bag of rice.
Falls into the waterfall. Bag of rice.
And don't forget the soy sauce, low sodium soy sauce.
If you can get silica pellets, they actually work a lot better than rice. But the main thing is put it all in a Ziploc bag. And as soon as something happens, put it in the bag, squeeze out as much air as you can, and then seal the bag.
But leave it in there for a few days.
Yes.
Don't just leave it in there for 10 minutes and think, oh, my rice did the job.
Right.
Yeah.
And if it is like when I dropped my GoPro in the water because I thought it was in the waterproof housing, the first thing you want to do is take the battery out. Don't just store it in the bag with the battery in.
Right. All good tips for going on day trips. Mm-hmm. One of the first stop that we did on this day trip was to Lake of Two Rivers, where we did the sunrise. So we had to leave Newmarket bright and early. It wasn't bright, it was just very early. We left at 2 a.m. so we could be at the proper spot, Lake of Two Rivers, by 5:45, 6 o'clock-ish. We made it just in time, luckily. We had actually very good timing this time. Yeah. And it was just beautiful sun. I mean, the sky was amazing. Have you guys got any photos available of the show?
Yeah, I got photos to show.
Oh, yeah, pull something up there, Darren. Oh, nice. Oh, yes, it was early as we were going. Yeah, surprisingly sharp for handheld.
Actually, it's funny because this is the one where I was standing in the aisle or just squatting in the aisle, holding the camera steady. The other ones where I braced the camera on the railing, none of those are sharp.
Oh.
That's actually that's a trick that I heard from, I think it was Moose Peterson, who does a lot of aircraft photography, and he'll be in an airplane shooting another airplane. And he says what you want to do is actually touch as few surfaces as possible, and try and almost hover yourself in the middle of the plane, because when you brace yourself up against something, if you brace yourself up against a wall, it's fine because the wall isn't moving. But if you brace yourself up against something in a moving vehicle, all the vibration from that vehicle is passed over to you. So a lot of the pictures that I did where I was shooting down the middle of the aisle, I was just trying to touch as little as possible.
Good tip. That's a nice shot, Darren.
Mm-hmm. This was before the sun come up, and that's usually when the best lighting in the clouds is, just like with the sunset after the sun has gone down. That's when a lot of the colors will start to pop.
It's very nice. The little patches of reds and yellows in the sky, in the clouds.
Somebody had asked on the community, they didn't understand the water. They said the water looks funny, and it was a puzzle. And that was interesting because the water is partially frozen.
Mm-hmm.
So it creates, if you didn't know that it was frozen, you're looking at it, yeah, it does look kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of cutting it off halfway. Like, what do you do to that, second half of the water?
It's neat because some of the things that we did, or we try and make sure we do, is have people shoot for a specific result. So we were doing some photo challenges. We had 4 photo challenges at each of the locations we went to, and it was a lot of fun. I think people got a lot out of the challenge. It gave them something to work towards. One of the challenges was look behind you. I believe you came up with that one, Gabriel.
Did I? Cool.
Did you?
It was early. I don't know.
I know. I know. I've been doing that for years.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you put that in there. The look behind you thing is something that a lot of people forget about. I mean, you're out there, you've got this beautiful scenery in front of you, the sun's coming up, you're just so excited. Everybody forgets to see what's going on behind, you know? There's the sun hitting the trees, and you can see the gold at the top of the trees start to come down, and there's so much else that's going on, or even just before the sun even comes up, just looking at the wildlife that might be behind you in the water and so on. Did you guys do a what's behind you photo?
I did so. I did a couple of what's behind me photos.
Are we allowed to see them?
This was what was behind me, and then I took another one. If I'm going to be a photographer, got to have the tripod in the photo.
That's one tall tripod you got there.
Tripod's almost as big as I am.
That's awesome.
And it provided some great light for portraits.
Mm-hmm. I saw you working on a few. There's Paul.
There's Paul.
My what's behind me looks quite similar.
Except with a wider lens.
I did have one other because I turned behind me and he was right there. So I'm like, okay, so there's what's behind me.
There's Blake. Blake is behind you. There was a couple times during the day when people were really commenting on how beautiful the light was, and they were pulling people into the photos. I believe it was Steven that did that to me, kind of grabbed me and pulled me into a room and said, Bryce, stand here. And he took my shot, which I actually thought turned out very nice. Of course, I don't remember he was using a tripod, and apparently he was. Oh, God.
It was my portrait, but that's for a little bit later on.
Thanks for sharing that one. Yeah, good times.
The challenge for the shadow shot. I like that one. That's Navi, and for some reason, just the way she's walking and the way she's holding her tripod, it looks like Band of Brothers, or like it looks like she's like military personnel walking down in Fallujah or something. So I showed that one to her. She thought she looked all bad bum in that one. So
bad bum.
Yeah.
There you go.
Naviism. There's Navi as well.
Well, you were actually working for that starburst effect.
Yeah, I got some. That lens that I borrowed from you had some kick butt starburst. Like this is rating camera, no photoshopping or anything like that.
So explain what you do for that. This is something that we were. I think you showed a few people while we were doing this, right?
Yeah. So let's see, because let's see if I can pull it up really quickly, because I took a couple shots where I went f 4 and then f22, and so to get the starburst, and it's different on different lenses, but on this lens, this was the 16-35 Canon lens, and when you stop down to f22, you get this fantastic. So here's a picture. Oh, what's going on here?
I couldn't tell you.
Oh no. Okay. Here's a picture on f4, and then here's the exact same picture on f22.
Yeah.
So it creates this fantastic starburst with that lens, and I really had a lot of fun and some great lens flare. And I had a lot of fun playing with that lens that day.
You see a lot of people try and avoid that from happening. I'm not saying you should. I like the effect.
Yeah, I can see how it might be annoying if you're trying to get a cityscape at night and you've got lights all over the place, and every single light that you shoot has this star effect to it. But then there's other people that have different lenses that go out and specifically buy filters to create this star effect. So, the cure for that is to just open it up a little bit, and you're going to get less of a star effect. But if it's an effect that you like, then being able to shoot on f22 and get that effect is really, I found it pleasurable.
For sure. Well, I had a great time doing that trip. Unfortunately, there were no major wildlife that we saw. As Darren shared previously, there was the moose that Bob saw when they were, Bob and Jen were on their way out of the park. The only two people that saw moose on our trip were the people that had to leave early. That's a little bit disappointing, but
There was a loon in flight.
right there was that. There was a couple loon. There were some loon. That's why I say it wasn't any major wild. The loons are beautiful, and they were fine form, bright red eyes. I just love good shots of the loons. Of course, I didn't get any, but
I got some, but it was with 100mm macro, so
they were a little far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have any of mine pulled up here. Actually, here's about the best shot that I was able to get. I was using the Sigma 500mm. So you'd think I would have gotten a great one.
That's nice. That's a
There
good
you
one. Nice shallow depth of field.
I do like what the effect I had in the water, the shallow depth of field from the focal length. The only thing I don't like is I was shooting at a little high ISO to get the faster shutter speed. And with the D7100 at the ISO I was shooting at, when I get in too close, it does tend to grain up quite a bit. And I lose the detail around the eye. So
What ISO were you at?
I was at about 1,000.
It shouldn't be that bad. That camera should be good to 1600.
It's good to 1600, but I'm pixel peeping. Like I'm looking at it like I wish I had a 1DX or a D4S or something.
If you were to print up that picture really large, you'd be able to notice.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
But I still got a nice, decent picture of a loon. There's been so many shots. There's this one gentleman, Bruce Cormody. He comes in and he has some shots of loons with the little baby loons on its back, and every eye is crystal clear, and that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for, you know.
Yeah, but he doesn't just go on a walk in Algonquin Park taking a photo of a sunrise and just point his camera that way and go click and grab the shot. I mean, I think that he's waiting around and, scoping out the neighborhood and patiently, sitting there and waiting till they go by and taking a lot of images to get that one that looks that way.
Absolutely true. And you know what? Honestly, I came home from the day trip with 35 pictures. Like different photos aside from bracketed images. That was it. So I wasn't really doing a lot of shooting for myself, and I think 5 or 6 of those pictures were you, Gabriel, doing fast motion for me.
That was fun.
There's actually some pretty fun photos there. Sorry.
I was going to say what blew me away was I did some HDR work inside some of those log cabins. And what blew me away is I just took the images without doing any processing to them, and then did the HDR from Lightroom through Photoshop, and then just saved it as a 32-bit TIFF file back into Lightroom, and then did the processing in Lightroom, and it brought in detail in the windows that wasn't in any of the other images. So I think that in that 32-bit TIFF file, it does record all of the data that's in those raw files and embeds it into that one huge file. Because I was able to bring back, like I say, detail in the windows that I might have been able to get if I lowered the highlights or lowered the exposure, on the image. But even on my darkest image, I wasn't seeing that detail, and it just popped back. This is. So
you're saying basically instead of doing the 16-bit processing and then doing all the other editing in a special software, literally just merge it and then pull it right back. That is incredible.
And this is what I wanted. I didn't want any funky stuff. I didn't want to have to do 18 steps to get it. I wanted simple.
I don't think I was even in that building.
And then there was another one. Now I had to do a little bit of extra work on this one, looking into the oven. But that's inside an oven in a very dark shed. There's almost zero light in the oven. You can see some logs, and you can still see some detail out the window. And I don't know how many range of stops that is. I only bracketed five exposures, 1 stop value.
Oh, the clarity is fantastic, Darren. Great shots.
I was just.
I'm looking at the pictures that I took in there, and the composition of mine was horrible, and the lighting was horrible, and they were soft. So, yeah, totally great work.
I didn't really take a lot of time. I just, went in, looked around, took a couple of minutes. When other people were busy doing things, took a few shots, went back out to help people.
See, that's kind of our role. We're not really there to make the photos for ourselves, although thankfully we come home with some decent images. here, I'll do a quick screen share of pretty much my favorite image that I got in the day, which again was more the sunrise. Here you go.
Nice.
So that's the one shot that I could say I really, really like.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
And you know what was funny? I was doing all the editing, and this is an HDR, and I merged it and I put it all together, and I didn't really think much of it. And then I brought it into color effects, and I used their split, blue gold split.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, I just applied the one effect, and I said done. It was fantastic. I really like what it did for it.
Jeez, I should show you split toning in Lightroom. You might like that.
You know what? I probably will. Yes, Darren, you are the master. Detail outside or outside and the oven. This is from Joseph Leduc, Darren. Joe just called you a master. There
Thank
you
you,
go.
Joe.
That's something to be proud of. All right, so what else, guys? What else here?
After that,
People's
there's
experiences
Jack
on the
shooting-
trip.
Oh,
Did you? We
we're
were.
all the way up
That's,
there.
yeah. Well, we're still up there. Yeah. Oh, I guess we're all over the place, aren't we? The experience that people were having. What feedback were you guys getting from people?
I found people at some certain points people were confused about things, and when they're getting in the one lady Jennifer now, of course it was her first day with a camera and first day in photography, and then she's tried to do some macro. She wanted to get a photo of a water drop, of a tiny little water drop on a pine needle, not a pine needle but a pine tree. And I think she had one of the Sigma macro lenses, 100mm macro lens. And she was trying to do it, I think, without a tripod. So that just, invokes a whole hornet's nest of, precise focusing and, hand holding, trying to keep the focus. And then the camera was hunting back and forth for the focus. So focusing point, the focusing servo mode, which was well beyond her level of understanding for the day. But I think she almost got a couple of shots of the water drop, crystal clear.
But I think what she got more than anything was the experience of trying.
Yeah.
And having somebody right there to help her and to help her understand why it would or wouldn't work. Obviously, using a tripod would help with that, and of course, some flash might help with that. So these are all things that, through future trips or for whatever other reasons, she may find herself doing easier now that she's had a little experience. Don pipes up. He says, "I think I could have helped there."
Yeah.
Water droplets. The master, Don Komarechka, pipes up. Yes, you could have helped there.
There were no snowflakes. There's lots of snow, but no snowflakes.
They were all ice flakes.
Now, it would have been cool to have, my image in the water droplet through the tree.
That would be cool. We also talked a lot about bracketing with people. We made a point to get some people to learn how to do some bracketing in their cameras. Not that, again, bracketing can be used for a lot of different reasons. It could be used to take multiple shots at different exposures, and then you can pick and choose the one which you feel works best. Sometimes if you're walking on a trail, you have to keep up to a group. You don't have the time to meter light and to really be precise with your exposure. Bracketing can help you quite a bit with that. So there's one reason. Why are you laughing, Darren?
Because yesterday, in the absolute deluge of rain, and I needed to get a couple of outside shots. As soon as you get a couple of water droplets on the lens, you're done. You gotta, wipe it off. And didn't have time to figure out what the right exposure would be, so I just took on bracketing and ran back for cover. So yeah, definitely used bracketing yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, there's bracketing for HDR, where you're going to be shooting to merge all these multiple exposures to capture as much dynamic range as you can. So we thought that it would be important to give some folks the experience of getting into bracketing, and I think that worked out for some people.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, when trips like these are going on, you can't always predict exactly what's going to happen. There was a point where we were told that we couldn't really have the vehicle for as long as we thought we should, or we were able to without a longer stop or something. So we had to kind of trim down, what kind of threw me in a little bit of a loop for timing. We spent some time at the visitor center at the end, and I think one thing that we could have done is maybe jumped across the street to the Spruce Bog Trail for a little walk there. I'm like that. I want to make sure that I'm giving the best possible value at all times, right? But
Yeah, I think
mean,
everybody. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
I think everybody had their lunch. You had granola bars and water. On the bus on the way there, on the way home, you can sit and rest and sleep. So going to the visitor center really didn't provide any kind of photo opportunities. You know, the rest, well, we got that on the way back. So, you know, unless we're doing a photo review at the park before we jump back in and do more photos. I wonder
well, yeah. And that's the thing, like, and my card reader wasn't working, so I couldn't bring up any of the images, which I was going to hope to do there, and that didn't quite work out. So you're right. And ultimately, this is something that from every trip we learn something new. We learn to kind of make some different changes. So
it'd be cool if we could bring a screen, the projector, and go into a dark area of the visitor center, and you know, like set up and do a photo review there, where everybody can gather around and watch at the same time.
See what I'm doing?
Yeah, writing it down. Although I think they would probably want to have you go downstairs to their theater, but hey, maybe you could put on a presentation.
Yeah, really. That would be definitely possible to do. I'm going to think about that for the Algonquin trip. Could be an interesting little thing. So anyway, one of the things we did get to do there was we went to the Lookout, and the Lookout is absolutely beautiful at the visitor center. And we took our group photo there, which was really nice. We always like to take a group shot of everybody, make sure everybody gets their photo in the books, so to speak.
Yeah, I saw a couple of nice photos that someone had taken from the visitor center. I can't remember whose it was now.
There were some amazing photos taken on this trip, I have to say. And some of them have been posted, but remember, guys, if you have been on the trip and you're watching the show, go ahead and post your challenge photos to the Daytripper community. Remember, it is a private community, so the only time those photos get shared is when we're sharing them here on the show, because we're like that. You seeing if you could find that, Darren?
Yeah, it was Jordan. Jordan did some cool processing on that one. I thought it was kind of interesting.
Oh yeah.
That's the lake that's normally open, still frozen this time of the year. Looked like he did some different toning on the opposite side of the lake, some blue toning on the opposite, the warm tones in the foreground.
It's great composition in the shot.
Yeah, and it just adds that extra dimension that, you know, gets missing from a regular print.
This is the second trip I believe Jordan came on with us. He was at our falconry session as well, which is really cool. Which, by the way, we're doing again June 8th. Just a reminder to the world. The Birds of Prey.
That was fun.
Yeah. Pico projector for presentation as well, as long as it isn't somewhat dark, portable, and easy to use. Pico projector. What's that?
It's like a little pocket projector.
Oh. Yeah, I guess my projector is a little bit extra large.
But
when you're on a
bus,
bus,
there'll be no
that's
problem.
rude.
Yeah.
Well, we were supposed to have the bus screens folding down to use as well. That didn't quite work out. That's a great shot, Gabriel.
Thank you. It's one of my first attempts at a black and white landscape, and just playing with the sliders in Lightroom and a little bit of dodging and burning and stuff. I was pretty happy with how it turned out.
That's at the visitor center as well?
Yeah, that's from Lookout Point.
It's a really neat landscape there.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the trees are all just, they look dead, and then of course you got patches of life everywhere. I mean, obviously it's spring, but it's mostly evergreen there.
Yeah, I did a negative clarity compilation a couple of times on a shot similar to what Jordan had from around that vantage point, which turned out kind of cool.
It was some really amazing landscapes and some great photos from our community members. One of the things I think that I've always noticed on these day trips is the camaraderie that happens, the interaction between all the people on the day trip. New friendships are formed, new alliances are formed. You got people like Blake and Stephanie and Isabel, who on one of our last Algonquin trips, Isabel had an unfortunate experience with one of her lenses in Brooks Falls, never to be seen again. And Blake was instrumental in helping Isabel and making her feel better about the whole day, and since has actually started a company with Isabel. So there's all these different experiences that are going on all the time, and I think Stephanie and Jen had a bonding moment on this last trip, singing their song to their. I don't know if you remember that. They had the media player go in there and sing. Oh, it was just hilarious. You had to be there. But yeah. So what else? A bus ride back. Oh, fun to watch people pass out. What exactly do you mean by that, Gabriel?
Oh, it was just on the drive back. I had my camera strap on. It was in my hand. I noticed myself dozing off a couple of times, and but I really kind of wanted to be awake for answering questions and just having conversations. So I got up and sort of perked up a little bit and noticed other people just kind of going like, oh. It was kind of fun. One particular person fell asleep with their hand on the camera, and in their sleep they were sort of moving their hand around the camera, almost as if they were, adjusting settings for better pictures in their sleep. So
Moose!
That was kind of fun.
Somebody jumps up out of their seat screaming moose. I actually, there was a couple of times I was having some conversation and I found myself totally just disappearing for a couple seconds. I just had to jolt myself up, and you had this wheezy feeling in the back of your head, like I just fell asleep standing up. Like that was the weirdest thing.
And then a lot of chimping on the way home as well, people going over their pictures. And one thing I love about the 5D Mark III is that it has a rate button right on the back. You can star it from 1 to 5 stars. And so I was going through my images, zooming in, finding the ones that I like, and then actually rating them 4 or 5 stars, rating the camera. So once I imported them to Lightroom, when I was done my import, I just filtered for 5-star images, and all my favorite pictures were already there. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah, all sorts of cool things. Nikon has on all of their cameras the lock button, a little key symbol, and people can just hit that, which puts a flag rating on their photos. Also marks them as read-only. If they're trying to delete them from their computer, they'll get this cryptic message: "Are you sure you want to delete this? It's read-only." But that can help. You would have to zoom in on it to make sure that it's a sharp shot. And I definitely wouldn't be deleting any until I looked at them on the computer. That's one thing I think a few people have.
Yeah, that's rule number 1: is never call in camera.
It's okay to rate them, because if you rate them wrong, that's okay. You can always unrate it. But if you've deleted it, it's gone forever.
Yeah, I know. I remember one situation in particular. It didn't happen to me. It happened to a friend photographer, where they took 6 pictures of a certain scene. 3 of them were in focus, 3 of them were out of focus, and going through it quickly, they called in camera and ended up deleting the 3 that were in focus, and all we were left with is the 3 that were out of focus. So never call in camera. Always wait till you get it back on a bigger screen.
Doing a presentation for Henry's about chimping and metadata. One of our Sunday presentations at Henry's New Market.
Oh, cool.
Just waiting for the right date, unfortunately, with the imaging show coming up soon. Dates are scarce, but it will be a Sunday, probably in early June. Chimping and metadata.
Nice.
So chimping. You said the term chimping. What is chimping? Chimping is like this. Ooh, look at that picture. Ooh. It's chimping. Simple term.
Chimping is it's like it's like anything. It can be fantastic or it can be terrible. I've missed a couple shots at weddings while chimping the pictures before, but also wanted to make sure that I got the pictures before, because if I didn't, then I have to take them again. So
review your stuff. Make sure it's what you're looking for. Make your changes you have to make. Keep on going. Chimp again.
But don't let it distract you from the now.
The moose is there. Take pictures of the moose. Wait until later to chimp.
There's a difference between chimping and checking, right? Chimping is, wow, aren't I a good photographer? Oh, isn't that really great composition? That's chimping. Checking is making sure that you've got your focusing system right. Play back, zoom in, make sure your shutter speed's fast enough, because if the shutter speed's too slow, you might be getting ghosting effect or a blurry image on things. So checking, definitely a good thing to do every once in a while. Check and make sure that all your settings are still working for you.
Well said. Did you notice what I was doing? Chipping versus checking.
Oh,
I'm giving a presentation on this. Come on, I got to take notes.
a Darrenism.
A Darrenism, exactly. All right, let's go back to our our photo review, our challenge of the week. Photo challenge theme. First of all, the day trip was awesome. We're going to be doing our next big day trip will be June 22nd, where we're going to Niagara Falls. So for all of you guys who are wanting to come on the mobile classroom and get involved in a really cool trip to a place that you might have been before, but not like this, learn photography while at the falls. It's going to be a great time. Check it out, daytripperphoto.com. Also, we have the falconry, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, on June 8th. So if you want to take some pictures of birds of prey, learn how to capture birds in flight, do a little review afterward at the Daytripper Photo Academy, then please register at daytripperphoto.com for the falconry session as well. Algonquin, we're going back in the fall, and of course registration's open for that too. All right, anything else to add to the conversation on our day trip, guys?
No, it was a great trip. I think it was a lot of fun. Everybody learned something, and that's what we're there for. That's what we come out for. That's what we help people to do. We help people to learn.
You got it. We love that.
People
better
are
than
great
seeing
at
the
asking
light bulb.
questions.
I'm sorry?
People are great at asking questions when they have one, and that's, if you don't ask questions, we just sort of look bored all the time. So we appreciate it when questions are asked.
It's true. I mean, we have an itinerary. We have things that we talk about. We definitely have things that we cover. But there are things that people will think in the back of their minds and not put it out there for help, when really the only reason we're there is to supply that help. So, and you're right.
Finally, carrying all the gear that I always carry around with me all the time, and I didn't unpack and repack in a different camera bag. I just took my regular camera bag with me, and was able to actually help somebody. Ingrid bought herself a new camera. The joys of buying a new camera is that the technology of the new camera is not going to be the same as the technology of the old camera, and she didn't have a cable release anymore because Nikon has different pin connectors on the different cameras. So fortunately, I had one that was a universal, that was a any kind of Nikon camera, and I had all the connectors. I just kept them in my camera bag. So she went from a D300 to a D610, which took a different connector. So she had the connector for the D300, which is the round
the DIN plug.
End pin.
Yeah.
So I said, look, if you want, I'll just trade you. And as a bonus, I'll give you each cord. And she didn't really understand it at first. I said, it's the same push button thing, but you can plug the different cord into it, so you can still use it on your D300, and you can now use it on your D610.
That was a good trade.
So, I mean, it didn't matter to me. I don't have a camera that, I need the other cord for, so.
Yet.
Don't say that.
One day you're going to have one and be like, Ingrid!
You're out of luck, Brian. I can't lend it to you anymore. It's gone.
Yeah, right. I'll go knock on Ingrid's door. Hey, give me the remote. No, it's okay. Okay, very cool. We had a great time. Thank you guys so much for the day. You were awesome as always. But now we have to get on to our photo challenge review for the theme Close. Let's do the thing. Close was the theme, and now this is where we were split. I was going to click Start Broadcast originally while we were having this discussion because it was pretty interesting to hear everybody's different views. There's about 12 photos that I think we all really like. Very close to 12 photos. It's tough to pick the top. So of course we make a list. Gabriel's number one, my number one, Darren's number one, and so on and so on and so on. And then we usually, two of the three are the same, and we can kind of say, okay, well, we'll concede this one here should be there, whatever. Number one, each a different one. Number two, each a different one. And honorable mention, each a different one. So we're stuck. We're totally stuck.
You bunch of jerks. You're fantastic photography.
The
what I'm going
opinions
to
of
do.
Gabriel Brusquet do not necessarily reflect those of Daytripper Photo.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Here's what I'm going to do. Because I respect these guys' opinions on photos, and I'm sure they do mine as well. What I'm going to do is, for each of the first place picks that we chose, each one, whether we thought they should be first, second, or third or not, if we picked them as a first place, Gabriel's, mine, and Darren's, each one of them is going to get a awesome account from 500px.
Woohoo!
That's a $80 value. You got three of them right here. So for the top winners of the 500 PX Awesome account for 1 year, they go to Julie. Oh, we haven't looked at all the pictures yet. But Julie, guess what? You won. Yay.
I'm changing one of my picks.
Sorry, Darren, go ahead.
I said I'm changing one of my picks.
Oh no, we're busted.
Best.
The whole thing is messed now.
That's okay. We're still
We're still good? Okay, cool. All right, so Gabriel, would you like to do the honors and maintain control? And hi, Lena. How are you? Thank you for watching the show tonight. And Blake is like Spanish or something now.
Quiero Taco Bell?
Yeah, he's... Quiero Taco Bell. Used to have that little
Spanish
dog.
right now.
Is he only Spanish? Great. You're saved at Taco Bell. All right, cool.
Okay. So let's go down to the beginning of Close, which starts around here. So are we just going through all the images? Or?
Yeah, we'll go through the images like we usually do briefly and have a quick chat about them.
This one's cute. I like the natural framing of the tree. I like the house in the background, how you can tell it's a house, but it's not very distracting. And of course, you know, you can tell, I think in his explanation he was saying that they're sisters, but they don't live close to each other, but you can definitely see the family resemblance, you know, right there in the big smiles and happy faces.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a nice moment.
That's a great shot too. I love the shallow depth of field.
Mm-hmm.
I love the rustic building behind. It is interesting how the tone of their clothes totally match the tone of the background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes their faces pop out a little bit more.
Sorry to sidetrack, but Lena is correcting Blake on his Spanish. He said O-L-L-A for hola, and she's saying H-O-L-A for hola. I'm just saying it's more like hola. No, I didn't really say that. Sorry, go ahead, Gabriel.
So Fred's entry, one of his entries for close. So apparently these birds were close to each other for a while, and that looks like he's pretty close to them. That's 250 millimeters. So he could be a good 15, 20 feet away, but yeah, it's nice.
Nice shot.
And
this cat is the one staring at Fred's photos.
Feed me, see the reflection of yummy in its eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Right? I see the reflection of the birds in there.
This one here, I'd be interested to. Yeah, it's pretty low res, so I'm wondering if it was taken with a like a camera phone or something. Because when you bring it to full res, it's kind of pixelated. So I don't know if that's just because a lower quality version was uploaded, or if it was taken with like a camera phone or something. Here we go. This one here, I love this one. This was actually my pick for first place. Spoiler alert. It's not often. I mean, God, you know, going on 500 picks and Google Plus, and I see 7,000 flower pictures every single day, and it's rare that a flower picture catches my attention. And I just love. I love the shallow depth of field, that the tips of the yellow stem. I can't remember the name of it. I think it starts with a P. Oh, there you go. It starts with an S. These are in focus, but so are the tips of the leaves here, and then the tips are beautifully lit so that they light up a little bit. I love the pastel-y colors. I love the little stem coming off the side here. I like the square crop. I actually even don't completely mind the watermark, because this is a watermark that doesn't detract from the image. It doesn't draw attention away from it. It's a nice, simple watermark, and yeah. So this is my pick for number one.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Here we go. Another nice flower picture. This one's a little bit more muted tones.
Yeah, Julie was working on a lot of layers, I believe, with this. This is a project she was working on. I love the color. I love how the water droplets behind are the color of all the center of the flower. There's picking up all the different colors. the textures and the droplets in the top right corner.
It looks
Apparently
like
she was working on luminosity masks.
That's right. That's what it was.
Okay. Looks like a vegetable with the. It's got sort of a not a cabbage. Maybe it's a cabbage. There's a sort of a lettuce leaf that looks similar to this, and it sort of reminds me of that.
Mm-hmm. Makes me want to eat it.
Yeah, exactly. It makes me think of pretty and yummy.
Pretty and yummy.
This is a nice one. I like this one here, and I know from experience that this is a hard shot to get.
Yeah, timing is pretty key when it comes to taking pictures of dragonflies.
Mm-hmm. Now this is also not new. This looks like this is taken in
Bob, look at
2013,
that.
So disqualified. Next. This one I really like. You know, close. When we think of close, we think of proximity. Whereas the very existence of a Purple Heart, you know, pretty much means close call, close to death, close encounter. Yeah, I love the layout of it. You know, it's not, you know, it's not a Mona Lisa, but the concept of the theme is very well captured, and it's well lit, and I like the red background and the concept of it.
In fact, you know, close call didn't even come to me when I first saw it.
Oh yeah.
So that's where it takes on a different meaning, you know.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, the Purple Heart is awarded to somebody that's injured in the line of duty. So, you know, it could be, you know, breaking your ankle while peeling potatoes, but it could also be, you know, stepping on a landmine and losing a leg. So, the Purple Heart, you know, has lots of different meanings, but usually it's, you know, close call, close brush with death, close encounter, not of the third kind. This one here is cool. I think this was one of your favorites, right, Brian?
Yeah, I really like this one. I'm a car guy, and you know, this reminds me of high school. This reminds me of playing with, you know, Matchbox cars and doing school projects. And I like the lighting around the car. I like the mirror that it's all on, and the reflection.
Great idea with the pencil crayons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The perfectly arched.
I just thought it was well thought out and well shot.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What do you think, Darren?
Oh, I'm just thinking, you know, that's as close as he's ever going to get to a Lamborghini.
Yeah, that was the caption for it.
I've been close to a couple of Lamborghinis and Maseratis in garages, but
yeah, or at like auto shows or something.
No, I mean like working in someone's house in the garage.
Oh, cool.
And hoping when I walk by the car that I don't have anything in my pocket that would scratch the car.
Yeah, that would not be good.
That would hurt.
Another nice one, like the concept. We're gonna apologies to people to the people who are gonna go. We're 2 minutes over, so we're gonna go through them a little bit quicker.
Sure.
So, but this is a nice, you know, if it was a little bit higher resolution, this would be a great stock photography image.
That's true.
Yeah. Close friends at the beach.
Great. I love the processing Laura used for this shot.
Mm-hmm. Kind of a timeless image, and it's really timeless because these toys here, these are sort of plastic dump trucks. They're not iPads, so this picture could be 20 years ago. Actually, they would have been metal back then, but you know, the toys are sort of timeless.
And it wasn't taken for the photo challenge. It's an older photo because I don't think the water is that warm. The kids could be sitting at the beach.
Yeah, actually, that's true.
Yeah. Actually, it looked like it was on vacation, but it was still shot in February by the looks of it.
Okay.
What does it say in the photo details?
I think it said February 2nd or something, or February 11th.
February 11th.
I don't think it was November 2014. So.
This one's really nice.
I also like this one. I just love the clarity. I love the sharpness.
Mm-hmm.
The focus on the eyelashes, and even just the shape in the center of the eye and the pupil of the eye.
Yeah, now that would probably be a softbox, right? That's
I
what
was
it looks
thinking it
like
was a
to me.
softbox, but just with the distortion in it and stuff. I don't
Mhm.
know if it was corrected or that's the way it was, but I
I think
like
it.
it.
I think it may have been a window. That
There you go.
if you look in
Oh,
the top part of
curtains.
the eye, that doesn't look nice and even.
Looks more like curtains, eh?
Curtains or just like cloudy day.
Ultimately, it gets us looking and it gets us
Yeah.
trying to wonder.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me like it so much. It's more than just an eye. You're digging into it. You're trying to find out what is that, what's going on, but yet it's still clear in the all around in the eye. It's so sharp and clear,
Mhm.
That's what a soul looks like.
and that's the caption. Yeah.
Close to the clouds. Again, nice concept.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, and the nice chemtrails behind the airplane. Another beautiful one from Fred.
The flowers are starting to come out now, guys. There's going to be a lot of great flower photos showing soon.
Yeah.
Careful, I can see your face and you're not even on camera.
What? No, I like flower shots.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. No, I have a soul.
Sorry. I have a soul.
This one looks like a little bit of Photoshop shenanigans, which is nice. I did some Photoshop shenanigans with reflections earlier, but it looks like he took sort of half a picture and then flipped it over to create that sort of reflection effect.
Maybe he just took it on a mirror.
Maybe. Laid it down flat on a mirror?
Maybe it was on the ice. It's been one of those years.
Or maybe it's just a weird, naturally growing bug.
So on to the next one. Close to the edge. Again,
Okay, now, as beautiful as the photo is, because I love the color, I love the tones and so on that you see, the lighting and so on, it's really small and difficult to see, and the photo details have been kind of stripped away.
It's pretty low res, so yeah, I would love to see a larger version of this one.
I agree with that.
Up close to a jellyfish. I'm guessing this was taken at the
Ripley's.
Ripley's, somewhere I'm looking forward to going to in the near future.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Darren on this.
No, I don't believe it. Ripley's believe it or not.
Oh.
So I'm on the not. I don't believe it.
Yeah, see, I'm not with Darren on this. I just $30.
60.
Is it what?
Oh no, you're right. Yeah, $30. Yeah, you're right.
I love this kind of stuff, but I guess I'll just live vicariously through our community members on that one.
Well,
no, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go one day.
Oh yeah, we're planning a trip. I heard that the secret is to go first thing in the morning, as soon as it opens, and then it's not as busy.
Apparently, you can camp out overnight in there too.
Oh, cool.
It's expensive.
Rebel T3 ISO. Well, I mean, maybe we should look at doing a day trip there.
Oh, it's been suggested. It's been suggested, but the cost of it would be ridiculous.
That's a chance I'm willing to take.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that. See what kind of demand we get, and then I'll supply it.
So here's a couple more from Rhonda. Really, it's nice. When I first saw that, I thought lots of different types of yogurt, but I'm guessing it's probably paint.
I was thinking yogurt too.
I like that.
Nice texture to it.
Yeah, a couple more submissions from Rhonda. This is one of my favorites as well, and I just it's an interesting take on a flower. You don't usually see a flower shot like this. This I have no idea what it is.
And crystals.
This looks like Werther's Original, which is my wife's favorite candy.
Inverted Werther's or something.
Yeah. Another close-up shot. Nice. I'd like to see this one a little bit brighter, but I like the concept of it.
Mm-hmm.
Close to the Blue Jay. Very nice. Yeah, there's not a lot of metadata being brought up with these ones here, which is interesting.
True. That's all right.
I'd like to see what the focal length.
I think Rhonda's just getting comfortable sharing her photos through Google+.
I think she's happy she found the right place to post the weekly.
Yes. And so are we, because they're great shots.
Yeah.
One of the shots that she has there with the glasses, I wanted to see that one as well.
Sure. There you
There
go.
we go. That's a cute shot. Is that
Yeah.
ice on the glasses? Is that like coated in ice?
So that's where I left my glasses. Is the title.
Yeah, I
I'm
like the
wondering if that's
colors.
an effect in Photoshop she did.
Could have
Yeah, it
been.
looks like it might be some grunging in Photoshop.
Paul Natali speaks up and says, "Sushi." I'm thinking for the jellyfish.
Yeah.
This one's kind of cool. I like this one, except when you look into here, you can see a spider on the inside, and therefore it is immediately disqualified. This one here, Canadian Armed Forces SAR were performing training ops at the airport today. Opportunity to get some close in-flight shots of the Hercules transport. And yeah, it's not often you get that close to.
That is a big plane.
And you did a good job at asking the pilot to fly in absolutely the right direction to get the nice reflection of the sun on the prop plates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really great exposure on there.
Yeah, at 1/50th of a second at f10, 250 millimeter zoom. So that's actually a very slow shutter speed for that zoom. I wonder if that was tripoded or not.
I doubt it, but it'd be interesting to know.
Yeah.
One thing I am curious about, and I'm surprised Martin didn't think of this, you should really have a person standing next to it to give it some scale.
Absolutely.
That would make it a little bit more believable of how big the plane is.
All right, next picture. Not sure what the concept was on this. Close enough.
To the water so it'll float. I don't know.
Got ya.
I like my quote, my comment.
I want to go for a boat ride. I want to go for a boat ride. Come on, everyone, help me push.
Nice. I think that's Stephanie there too.
Yeah,
Giving a good
I was
show.
taking on the Algonquin trip. This was a last-minute entry. Nice refraction image. Good macro. Apparently this was a very challenging photo to take, but it looks like some nice progress. That's at a 40 millimeter.
That's the macro, 40 mil macro.
Yeah, so she must have been almost touching it.
If I had to pick a number 1-1, that would be the number 1-1.
I like that shot too. I love the softness in the background. I love the detail and the reflection. I think that's a really great shot. Martin pipes up, by the way. He says that photo of the plane was handheld over the fence.
Wow. Oh, okay. So the fence was adding some stability. Cool. Mm-hmm. And then last but not least, the ever-talented and somewhat famous Don Komarechka. I believe these are water droplets on the inside of an atom.
Yeah, probably. Don is a skilled master of macro. Now, I hate to say it, and Don, I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from when I say this. Respectfully, sir, we're going to not use this one as one of our top picks, although I think all three of us definitely would have picked it because of the fact that you are an instructor. And, you know, I think it would be a little bit more fair to the community at large if we open this up to some other folks to win the prizes. Although, big pat on the back, it's a great photo.
Plus, if you look at the reflection of this drop here, you can see the faint reflection of a spider, so it's automatically disqualified.
And this is where we had a disagreement, because I said, well, even though it is Don Komarechka, why shouldn't we be able to look at his photo and put it in as a winner or not winner on the photo challenge?
Well, he already says, I know, I'm disqualified. He gets it. Don's understanding. He's totally
Don
cool.
just gets us.
But when the guy runs the macro community on Google+, you know, that's kind of... But we love you, Don. We love you, man. You're awesome. Okay.
Absolutely.
Great photos. Thank you, everybody, for submitting. And, you know, it was a very difficult week this week, so please feel sorry for us. But the winners of the 500px account, and, you know, I got to say, going through the photos, there were two more that I had to add that are going to get 500px accounts. I'm sorry. It has to be done. There's going to be 5 winners this week, and it's not just because we're a bunch of sucks. That's part of it, but that's not all of it. Its big reason is because the photos are fantastic. So we've got 5. Count them. 5. 500px. 5. Okay. And yes, Terry says, but thanks for the submission, Don. It helps all of us. Absolutely. And Don says he never intended to win. It was all for fun. He likes to be part of things, and we want you to be part of things. So keep on keeping on there, buddy. Very good. Thank you. Okay, Gabriel, you want to do that screen share again and pull up the winner for number 1? If you can see in the notes, which you're not viewing at the moment.
What?
So many things at once.
So much stress. I don't do well with stress. Okay.
So, would you like me to help?
Yes, please.
Okay. First place goes to the ones that Darren and I picked for first place, which we'll do a screen share and show the world, even though Gabriel already has it up on his screen in front of us. But it's okay. Here it is. Boom.
That one?
That one.
That one.
There it is. First place goes to Marjorie McDonald. Thank you very much. And the beautiful thing about the 500px account that you won is that you can email me and I can give you the number privately. You don't have to come and pick it up from me, which is great. So congratulations, Marjorie. You won a 500px account.
And it is, as a 500px member, it is very, very worth it.
Oh, they are so cool.
Yeah.
I just posted that photo of the Algonquin sunrise, and it's 93.3 right now. It's gone up quite a bit. It's fantastic. Squirrel. Okay. Second place, and also winning the exact same prize this week, is that one right in front of you. Julie's picture, which is a great job in post-processing, and I love the textures and I love the colors, and Julie did a great job. So Julie as well, 500px account, and if you've already won one, well, you've got it for another year. Okay, and third place goes to...
Got it up.
Hey! Marjorie, you win a 500px account. Absolutely. All right. And the other two, Gabriel totally threw that one in there.
What?
But that's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
No, that was my pick.
That was your pick.
Yeah.
And the other two of us picked another one.
Oh, whatever.
But that's okay, because the other one's getting one too. And that is Martin's picture of the eye. Excellent. Beautiful job, Martin. Please contact me for your 500px account number. All right. That leaves us with, for one more prize, which is going to go to Rhonda's picture of the flower. The one that you picked, Gabriel. There it is.
That one.
That one.
I like that one.
It's a very nice photo. Beautiful
For some reason,
photo.
it reminds me of like a ballerina tiara or something like that.
Yeah, it's nice. I love the
tiara.
composition.
Tutu. Yeah, like a ballerina dress or something. Yeah.
The black and the contrast is really nice, and the composition is excellent. So congratulations, everybody, on winning the 500px awesome accounts. These are good for 1 year. As I say, they're an $80 value, and the inspiration you get from this and the photos that you can see on there and share on there, they do printing and so on and so forth. So excellent prizes, and we have 5 of them we've just given out, so congratulations to everyone. Cool. Anything else to add to our show tonight, guys, other than our standard closing fun stuff?
I'm good. I got to get going too, so...
Alrighty.
Yeah, thank you everybody for coming on the day trip. We had an absolute blast.
Don't forget to join the community on Google Plus if you're watching this after the fact.
Thanks for helping us help you.
Yeah.
If anyone has any questions about something in their photo that didn't turn out, feel free to post it and ask a question. Or if you have a question on processing, you're stuck on something, again, post it in the community and feel free to ask. There's lots of people that can help out besides me, Brian, and Gabriel.
Excellent, yeah, for sure. And we held our how-to hangout last night. 3 of the folks from our trip were joining in that, and they got a nice little bonus for doing so. So I'm going to open it up for another how-to hangout on the Algonquin trip for those of you who are interested for this coming Monday night. If you would like, please let me know, and we will plan to have another one of these hangouts so you can go do a photo review just for yourself and so on.
Cool.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and thank you guys for being here tonight. I know we've got to get going, so we're going to say goodnight. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Excellent.
Oh, a photo challenge for next week. Photo challenge for
yes.
yes. Next week. Sorry, can't do that.
White shadow.
Oh my God! I almost just totally blew it again. White shadow. White shadow. Where are we coming up with this white shadow?
If you have kids, you giggled at the reference to the Turbo movie, but it'll just be shadow.
Okay. So the theme for this week, everybody, is shadow. Just like the shadow of my hat, or whatever. Maybe it's the shadow. Who
Can
knows?
people use a photo they've taken from the Algonquin trip?
No, because it's not from this week. It has to be from this week forward.
So
New shadows. Neener. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have yourselves a great week, and remember to take shadow photos and post them to the community. And make sure you tag them Weekly Photo Challenge so that they will be added to this challenge.
And when the sun does come out for that 2 minutes that it's supposed to come out in one of the next days in the next 18 weeks, just make sure you run out there and grab the shadow photo right away.
There you go. Or make your own shadow. Use Flash or something. Okay. See you guys. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.